Good Tuesday evening, folks. We're a whole 24 hours closer to our event this coming weekend from when we spoke yesterday. So what has changed? Well, model consistency remains on track for winter storm impacts here locally. Moderate to even major impacts are in the cards. Now, this most likely will not be an all-snow event for our area. So if you're thinking this is going to be a plain old snow event like we had this past February that was a rarity, you're setting yourself up for some disappointment. We're looking at snow to start, likely over to sleet, freezing rain in some areas, south and east, Outer Banks, transitioning over to a plain old cold rain. Again, that's wholly dependent on the track. It is Tuesday, that can change, but trends have been towards that today. Timing has slowed down. There's an increasing chance that this could become a long duration event. We have our weather impact alert from Saturday afternoon all the way through Monday morning. So we're talking a 36 to 48 hour event potentially in the cards. Forecast confidence continues to go up for moderate impacts, at least for Hampton Roads. Moderate to high forecast confidence there, and major impacts, that's increased as well to moderate forecast confidence at this point in time. Brand new run of the GFS, just hot off the press, the 18Z run here showing snow overspreading the area. Likely starting as all snow for us, with it being cold enough at that point in time on Saturday. And then watch as we go on into Saturday evening, Saturday night, we begin to see the influence of that warm nose we've been talking about. And that is that southeast flow in the mid-levels, injecting some warm air aloft and transitioning us over from snow to sleet to freezing rain, and where you see the green, even some plain old cold rain down to the south and east there by midday on Sunday. Storm intensifies, pulls away, maybe even transitioning back over to a burst of some snow on the tail end of things, adding to some of those accumulations. The European model here, similar, a little bit later on its starting, but all snow to start. And as we go through Saturday night, likely snowing everywhere. And then by Sunday morning, here we are a little earlier than what the GFS was showing, a well-pronounced cold, warm nose here coming in from the south and east, plain old rain down through the Outer Banks, and watch the area of sleet and freezing rain march all the way up 64 towards Richmond and then retreating quickly to the east as the system begins to pull away and cold air gets pulled down. So scenario in play here, starting as snow, transition to a mix, and then potentially back over to snow, kind of giving us a snow mix sandwich. In terms of winter precipitation here this upcoming weekend. It's a possibility. It's not set in stone yet. A lot can still change. In terms of what I just showed you, the GFS and Euro operational runs of the models showing eye-popping snow totals here. Double digits, okay? Now, this doesn't tell the whole story because it's not falling as all snow. Sleet and freezing rain will compress those totals, and we won't see anything nearly as high as that, most likely, with how things are looking to play out at this point in time. Now, I want to talk about the really pronounced threat here of some freezing rain and ice accretion here that, as you know, on top of some snow, can cause some big issues. The European model is putting out ice accretion amounts of up to ½ an inch. Doesn't seem like that much for our inland counties, but that's enough to add 20, 30 pounds to a 1-inch diameter branch. Easily breaking the branch, tree damage leads to power lines coming down, and power outages. So something to keep an eye on here, something that's not been talked about very much yet, but this is something that's been a little more pronounced on models today with the influence of the warmer air in the mid-levels. Speaking of that, let's talk about the warm nose, because it can be modeled. We look at the temperatures at 5,000 feet, okay? The 850 millibar temperatures. And I want you to keep an eye on this blue line here, because this is the freezing line, 5,000 feet up. When we start to see that rise above the freezing line, we transition over to sleet and freezing rain. So here we are midday on Sunday. This is the Europeans' rendition of those mid-level temperatures, showing some warm air beginning to lift up from the south and over all of southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. That freezing line makes it all the way up to Petersburg and just south of Richmond. So this would be the time frame, Sunday midday, maybe even mid-morning through the afternoon, that we see that transition to sleet and freezing rain and perhaps even just plain old rain. You can see the 850 temps down to the Outer Banks in the mid-40s. So that's something we'll be watching carefully here, and something that influences our forecast for winter storms almost all the time. The exception was this past February when we just had all snow. Very, very rare for our area. So what I showed you was the operational runs. To kind of get a better feel for the trends, we look at the ensembles, which is those models run dozens of times. In fact, some of them, the Euro, over 50 times, tweaked with some variables to give it a slightly different outcome. Of all of those model ensembles, these are the percentages that show accumulating snows. An inch snow pretty good guarantee here from all of the trends from the ensembles right now. But look at the plowable totals, 3, 6 foot. Most models showing a good indication of at least 3 inches. Even a ½ foot has increased. You can see the trend arrows here all increasing throughout the day today. 80% odd on the Euro AI, but really the chance of a foot here on the Euro AI, it's been an outlier, but up to 60%, and that's an increase from its previous runs. These were the morning runs on all of these ensembles here. So we'll have an update on that later on tonight for any trends that maybe go in the opposite direction or increase further. So here's the overall summary of our 7-day forecast. Briefly mild on Thursday. Front comes on in here to deliver the cold air early Friday, late Thursday with a shower or two. Cold air's in place, snow breaks out, transitions over to some sleet, freezing rain, plain old rain on Sunday for parts of our area, and then maybe back over to some snow late Sunday into early Monday as the system pulls away. High confidence, too. We get very cold behind it. High temperatures in the low 30s, overnight lows in the teens.